Yeah, g'day everybody. Wade Northhausen here, Billboard Battalion. We're in Melbourne today. We've been here with the rally where we've had huge numbers of farmers, and also many of those farmers are Country Fire Authority volunteer firefighters. And the big rally has been about this enormous, great big new tax that the government here in Victoria, the Jacinta Allen, wants to put onto pretty well all our landholders, farmers, people in the city, the whole lot. So we're lucky enough to bump into Rikkie-Lee Tyrrell, who's a Victorian One Nation MP here. So I just thought we'd see Ricky and just say, how did it all go? And what did you get from this today?
Yeah, look, I was really impressed with the turnout and how far people travelled to come and protest. And I'm actually optimistic that we're not going to get this through. So hopefully we don't see it go through, which will be great for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's disgusting what the government's doing. It really is appalling.
So there's been quite a number of farmer protests here in these steps, and I've been here many, many times before. As you're aware, a lot of it to do with the water stuff, which you also have been involved in very heavily when you came into dairy farming. So are you seeing more and more farmers now starting to become political and taking notice of what's happening at the politics level?
Oh yeah, definitely. Look, as soon as legislation changes, it's normally the farmers that feel it first, like small business owners, farmers. It's us in the rural communities, and it's the people here in the city that feel the effects of it last, and when it's too late usually.
So a lot of the time that when we're down here doing a protest about something to do with agriculture, so many people in the city say, oh, I haven't heard of this. I don't know I didn't know this was happening.
Yep.
So what can we do to get a much better conduit between what's happening in rural regional areas to the people in the city? Because we constantly hear politicians say, oh, the people in the city don't care about the country people. Well, that's absolute crap. And they do if they know.
Oh yeah, look, as soon as they don't have eggs or milk or bread on the shelves in the supermarkets, they really fire up and they start asking questions. So as soon as we strip those supermarket shelves, then they take notice, because they can't grow their own food like we can. They don't have that beauty that we do up in rural areas. So they really are heavily reliant on us. So once we cut them off, then that's when they really start chirping up.
Well, we're seeing even, in a lot of the supermarkets now, restrictions on eggs. And people are going, what the hell's going on with this? So we're constantly talking about the bogus H5N1 bird flu.
Yep.
That apparently all the chooks have it and they've got to kill them, but everything else with feathers flying around the joint doesn't get anything.
Yep.
So, we're starting to see the scams that are coming out. But we've got people from all over Australia calling us, going, can you come and do a story on the overlays at West Wyalong? Can you come and do a story on all the bees that they're killing all over the place? Mm-hmm. New South Wales DPI.
Yep.
The so-called fire ants in southeast Queensland. So they're poisoning all over the joint, and there's no fire ants. So, this is starting to turn out to be a bit of a common theme where we're seeing the things that matter under attack from government. So, you're One Nation.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does One Nation sort of think about this sort of stuff?
Oh yeah, no, we call it out. We call a spade a spade. So even with COVID, I was like, no, this is not adding up, and I put my foot down straight away. Didn't wear a mask, didn't get vaxxed, and look at what we're seeing now. All the data's coming out and how bad it is.
Absolutely.
Really. Yep.
And Malcolm Roberts has been a fairly stringent sort of an opponent of all that rubbish as well, as have we, as you're aware, Billboard Battalion, calling this out right from day one. But so I think that we've got interesting times next Thursday. They've held the vote over until next Thursday. It was supposed to be today. Do you have any information as to why they did that?
Oh, so it's this Thursday coming up?
Well, look, that's what I hear.
Yes, it's this Thursday, not next Thursday, because this is the sitting week. And I think it's because they haven't garnered enough support yet for it. So they're still working heavily on the crossbench to try to get support for it to pass, but they're digging their heels in. So hopefully we can see that the crossbench turn hostile against the government and it will fail to pass.
So the crossbench are made up of, there's some Greens there.
Yes, there's
Animal
Greens,
Justice, I think.
Animal Justice Party, legalise cannabis. Yep, they're the ones that they're really going to have to work hard on to try to garner their support, but hopefully they'll also listen to our farmers, our landowners, our CFA members and take that on seriously, because it's going to affect everybody.
So in terms of the protests that we've seen here today and last week, as I said to you earlier on before, like we were in Bendigo, we were covering what was happening in Bendigo. Do you think that the fact that the crossbenchers haven't just gone, yeah, no worries, we'll support the Labor Party because that's who they generally run with, they're looking at the farmers starting to kick up a stink and go, oh, hang on, maybe this isn't that good an idea?
Yeah, especially, say, legalised cannabis, they will generally hold the balance of power in a lot of circumstances, but they're really strong on hemp farming. So if we can't farm because the taxes are so high, then that obliterates their plan to be able to bring that into industry. So they're going to have to think real hard and serious about this.
And I know a number of people who are hemp farmers,
yes, exactly.
all over the place, which is a great product. I mean, it has everything going for it, really.
Yeah.
Not the cannabis kind of stuff. We're talking about hemp for other reasons.
Yeah, no, and they are really strong on hemp, wanting to see that make a big industry and an impact in agriculture. So if we can't sustain the agriculture we have now, we can't introduce a new industry like hemp if these taxes are going to keep obliterating the industry.
Exactly, and that goes across the board for agriculture.
Yes.
Totally across the board. All right, Rikkie, look, thanks very much for having a bit of a chat to us.
Thank you very much.
We'll possibly be here Thursday for when the next instalment of the destruction of Australia happens, and what I call the government's war on farmers.
Yep.
So
look forward to seeing you all here. I
all
hope
right.
everybody can get down.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks for
very
that.
much.